All right, it's about time we talk about it. Um, I don't know what to label this video. Some of you understand me. Some of you don't. That's just a good look. Uh, in hold on, Nzechukwu versus Cutelaba, right? But this is Derek Lewis and this is Sergey Spivak. So what happened there? Obviously Derek Lewis pulled out of the event. I don't know why, or I did know why and I forgot. But I'm gonna make a video on why Derek Lewis pulled out. I'm gonna try to find the exact reason why. I'm gonna try to find what happened and what went on that caused the pullout so close to the fight happening. If y'all don't know, who to those who are watching the broadcast, you know, but to those who weren't, Derek Lewis pulled out while the prelims were happening. It was literally like 2 hours, 3 hours before he was supposed to fight Sergey Spivak, and the fight was called off. So pretty much there was not really a way to find a replacement opponent for Sergey Spivak. I mean, they could have had Waldo Cortez Acosta or Chase Sherman do it, but obviously it's like they wouldn't do it. Spivak wouldn't do it. They all trained for different people, so it didn't happen. And the main event got changed to Nzechukwu versus Ian Cutelaba. So y'all saw my predictions. We're gonna go over the fights I predicted, and we're gonna go over the entire card in general, and we're just gonna go over this weird event. I think this is the first fight night I've seen where it featured two unranked fighters on the main event. Is that a first for you guys too? Because I have never seen anything like this. Two unranked fighters for the main event. I don't think that's ever happened. Unless maybe it was two like huge names, but these guys are not, respectfully, they're not huge names. So, I mean, just something you've never really seen before, but all right, we're going to start from the bottom to the top. Natalia Silva versus Teresa Bleda. A lot of people were flaming this girl for having an interesting hairstyle, but I mean, it is what it is. And Natalia Silva was able to win by a third round knockout. Pretty sure. I mean, I don't think I can show videos because like I'd get the video taken down. But I think it was the fight with the spinning back kick right as the person was like going down. And then Natalia Silva finished them on the floor. Pretty good win. And we're going to move on to the next one. Brady Highstand versus Fernie Garcia. He won that by unanimous decision. He was a slight betting favorite. A bantamweight bout, and he got it done. We move on to Vanessa Demopoulos. I think there was someone saying something about her online. Something happened, but I don't know. Vanessa Demopoulos versus Maria Oliveira. Vanessa got this fight done by unanimous decision. It was a strawweight bout. Are these odds equal? They're like equal odds. But yeah, she won by unanimous decision in the third round. I could probably pull up the scorecards actually. If we go back, yeah, it was close before the finish. And then this one was kind of dominant near the end. And then Vanessa was dominating at the start, but then let the final round slip away in order to win a unanimous decision. We move on to Ricky Tercios. I watched the broadcast, and apparently it's Tercios, I think, if I remember that correctly. So Ricky Tercios, I'm pretty sure I put a bet on him even though he was on a prelims because I knew he was gonna win by unanimous decision. So I got that one down. I guess I'm 1 for 1 so far for this fight night prediction. I didn't bet for this one, Vince Morales versus Miles Johns, but Miles Johns was able to get it done by unanimous decision in a bantamweight contest. These are a lot of like bantamweight, strawweight flyweight. These are like lighter people. Interesting. So then we have Jennifer Maia versus Marina Moroz, who was, or maybe tomorrow's gonna change, the number 15 ranked flyweight. I assume Jennifer Maia is gonna take her spot. Jennifer Maia was the slight underdog, so it's an interesting win, and we now have a new women's flyweight contender. And that was the prelims. This fight was meant to be on the feature prelim bout, but then of course with Derek Lewis pulling out and the fight getting canceled, this was the main card fight. And I didn't put a bet on this fight because it was added to the main card so late. But there was controversy behind this one. That's because Charles Johnson got the win by unanimous decision. He was a slight betting favorite. It was a flyweight bout, but a lot of controversy was because a lot of people thought that they robbed Zhalgas Zhumagulov of his win. If you look here, what was mainly the deciding factor was the second round. You can see Derek Cleary and Douglas Crosby were the ones who, oh no, Derek Cleary and Saul D'Amato, my bad. Derek Cleary and Saul D'Amato were the ones who gave it to Charles Johnson, yet the only judge that gave it to Zhalgas Zhumagulov was Douglas Crosby. Now let's just look at these stats because it's gonna shock you. Okay, full fight. We have, these are not the stats. Hold up, no. It was way worse. Now you know what? I'm not even gonna go for it. But if you looked at the stats on Google, it was way more dominant win for Zhumagulov. I don't know where they got this from, but it was way more dominant for Zhumagulov when I saw it for the first time. When I saw those stats, maybe they got updated to become official. But at the time of the stats being released unofficially, Zhumagulov had way more strikes, had way more volume and output. He got the takedown. He had more total strikes. He had more significant strikes. And that was the reason why a lot of people thought they robbed Charles Johnson and they should have given the win to Zhumagulov. And watching the fight live, I do agree. I do think Zhumagulov slightly edged out that fight. And another thing, I don't have it pulled up right now, but Zhumagulov retired after the loss. After the closest split decision loss, robbery, he retired. He's not going to compete in MMA, not even UFC. He's not competing in MMA anymore. He wasn't even getting cut. He just doesn't want to do it anymore. That's what's getting people fired up. The fact that Zhumagulov got robbed in such a close bout that everybody thinks he should have won. And then he retired because of a robbery. He shouldn't have retired. He should have won that fight and then kept his career going, but because of, I don't know, maybe some weird sketchy judging, they were able to rob him of that win. So that's the debate online. That's what everybody's talking about, but I mean, it's sad to see Zhumagulov go out like that. I think he should keep fighting. I don't care if he loses. One split decision loss is not going to affect your career too badly. I think he should keep going and prove to everybody that he does have what it takes to compete at the top, but obviously it is what it is. Sadly, that's just how it ended up. But we start looking at the main card that was expected to be the main card in the beginning. The fights that I put predictions on: Jack Della Maddalena versus Danny Roberts. I predicted a second round KO or TKO for Della Maddalena, and it ended up being a first round knockout, which is pretty impressive. I mean, just look at these strikes, the differentials, 2 knockdowns. He got it done in just a few minutes. I mean, look at him. He's 3-0 in the UFC. All wins coming by first round knockout. I mean, this guy is the guy, man. This guy is going to be the next big thing. Well, he's in welterweight division. it's gonna be pretty difficult to enter those rankings in my opinion. I think welterweight's one of the more stacked divisions currently in the UFC with the most talent. But even though it's gonna be hard to enter those rankings, I think he could do it. I think he could enter those rankings. His striking is just so good. I don't even know how to describe it. It's impressive, his accomplishments so far in the octagon. And whenever you see a UFC fighter in his first 3 fights within a year, all knockouts in the first round, that doesn't go unnoticed. The UFC is going to give this guy some opportunities, and he's going to prove himself to the world. That's what I think. There's no scorecard because it ended way too fast. But we move on to the next one. I predicted the winner right. I didn't predict how he would, in what round he would do it though. So, okay, we move on to this fight. Andre Fialho versus Muslim Salikov. Now, even though I bet for Muslim Salikov, I wanted Fialho to win. And I know that's weird because I bet on the other guy, but I wanted Fialho to win. I don't know. I just like Fialho more. He's fought 5 times in 2022. He was added to the UFC roster in 2022. He's 2-3 so far in the UFC. And it's sad to see him like lose 2 straight. And I didn't really think if he was going to win the fight, but I'm still rooting for him, obviously. Muslim Salikov came off of that loss to Li Jingliang by 2nd round knockout. I thought Muslim Salikov just had more of what it took to win. So, full fight. I mean, it's pretty dominant for Salikov, though. I can't lie. If we look at the scorecards, it was 10-9, right? Because Andre Fialho was like edging out the first round, but then Muslim Salikov came back in stunning fashion in the 2nd round, and then in the 3rd round, he got it done. I mean, let's just look at the 2nd round here. My God. The differentials are crazy. I remember watching the first round thinking like, okay, maybe Fialho has a chance. Maybe, he gets it done, and I would have been happy for him. But after the 2nd round, as it went on, it was just clear, like, nah, that's not happening. Muslim Salikov's going to prove himself to the world. And he did. He got that win. And now he is... I mean, right now, I'm pretty sure he's currently right below, like, 15th for welterweight rankings. Because he fought Li Jingliang for his ranked spot at number 14. And since he lost that fight, if he continues to win just a few more fights, he'll be able to fight someone else for their ranked spot too. So he might be able to have that rebound to enter the rankings, which good for you. But what did I predict? I predicted Muslim Salikov by unanimous decision, maybe split decision. But he got it done by finish, so impressive. I hope Andre Fialho and Muslim Salikov find success at welterweight, or maybe even if they move up or move down. I only want the best for these 2 fighters because I kind of like them. So we move on to Chase Sherman versus Waldo Cortez Acosta. This was a 3-round unanimous decision, which is exactly what I predicted. Waldo Cortez Acosta, 3rd round unanimous decision. Somewhat dominant here. Look at the round by round. If we look at the scorecards, yeah, it's pretty clear that Waldo Cortez Acosta was not doing so good in the 1st round. He was kind of somewhat leaning to Chase Sherman, but then he was able to come back convincingly in rounds 2 and 3, and he was able to get that win by unanimous decision on all 3 judges' scorecards. So, impressive win for Waldo Cortez. He remains undefeated. He's now 9-0. Oh, excuse me. 2 wins in under a month. 2 fights in under a month and won both of them. And that's impressive as hell. You can't disagree with me. That's impressive as hell. I mean, thing with this card right here, I think it was made mainly to build up the smaller fighters, was what this card was made to do. And it really did do that. Like, it built up a lot of the people who won here on the prelims. It's definitely helped to build up Jack Della Maddalena's hype train. It's brought Muslim Salikov back. It was Andre Fialho's 5th fight this year. And now they're building up the undefeated Waldo Cortes Acosta. Impressive win, impressive record, and I can't wait to see where he goes from here, honestly. So that's Waldo Cortes Acosta. We move on to, I think this is the main event now. This was meant to be the co-main event, but it is now the main event. Kennedy Nzechukwu, I think I'm still saying that wrong, versus Ion Cutelaba. Now Cutelaba being on, I think he's on a 3-fight losing streak now after this Kennedy loss. Nzechukwu, he is one of 4 Nigerian fighters in the UFC. I think those fighters include Nzechukwu, Sadiq Yusuf, Kamaru Usman, and Israel Adesanya. Those are the 4 Nigerian fighters currently in the UFC. I think Kennedy Nzechukwu is the only one who's not ranked. And half of those Nigerian fighters have won championships. It's pretty impressive. So this guy's, as a Nigerian fighter, added to like the small roster of Nigerian fighters. He has a lot to prove, and he definitely proved it in his win against Ion Cutelaba. At the start, of course, it looked like Cutelaba was gonna, make a statement for himself that he should be back in the rankings. But then in the second round, the tides changed. That's a common theme for this card. The tides changed in a lot of fights. Changed in this fight, changed in the Waldo Cortes fight, changed in the Salikov fight. It changed in a lot of these. So round 2, KO/TKO in the first minute of the second round. The official scorecards had Ion Cutelaba winning before the second round, and then of course the second round happened, and let me see his name again. Nzechukwu was able to get that win, and now he's won his first main event. And if we look at his resume, I think he's on 2-fight winning streak so far, 2-fight knockout winning streak as well. It's impressive. I think this is his 3rd or 4th fight this year. Oh, it's his 3rd. Okay. It's nice that he was able to come back from this 2 straight losses streak that he had, and now he has 2 straight wins. It's impressive, and I think he's going to be 11-3 after this with 9 wins by knockout. And he's now more well known. He's now got more of an argument to be. He's more likely to be in the top 15 of, I think he's light heavyweight division. And as for Ion Cutelaba, it's pretty hard to see where he goes from here. What is that noise? Y'all heard that? I don't know if y'all heard that, but that was some weird ass noise I saw in my room. But I don't know where Ion Cutelaba is gonna go from here. He might get cut from the UFC. They might give him one more chance though. You know who is getting cut? Chase Sherman's getting cut. If we look at his, hold up. Chase Sherman versus open that. Chase Sherman. If we look at his past fights so far, I mean he's 16-11 right now. But if we look here, I mean Jesus, he had a win. He had 1 win against Vandera. Yeah. Oh wait, no, he had 1 win in between. Okay. So before this, he was on a staggering losing streak, 4 fights straight. He lost 4 fights in a row. Some of them came by decision, and then the latter 2 came by a first-round submission loss in the 2nd minute. Then he came back with 1 win, and then he lost 1 again. So out of his last 6, he is 1-5. That's what I meant to say, not the streak. It's just his last 6, he's 1-5. Could he get cut? Most likely. Will he get cut? Probably. Will Ion Cutelaba get cut? Will get cut? Probably. I don't think so, not yet. If he loses 1 more, he'll get cut. But I don't know if he'll get cut anytime soon. After his next fight, if they put him up against someone who's up and coming, who is an elite level fighter, who has a lot to prove, then he might lose that. And if he loses that, he might get cut. But if they give him like a tune-up, maybe something that he'll win, that he'll be able to win, then he can maybe come back not in the rankings, but just in the UFC in his fighting career, he can make a small comeback. And even in his in the weigh-in, usually he screams in the fighters' faces, and he was very calm. I mean, you always see in the UFC promotion videos like Cutelaba. Sometimes he'll paint himself. I think he's the guy who paints himself as like the Hulk, and then he'll like yell in the faces of his opponent. He didn't do that this time around. There was no green body paint. There was no screaming. There was a respectful stare down and a respectful handshake. Maybe that's why I lost. Maybe not, but I think there were like 3 performance awards on this night. It's pretty impressive. It was an entertaining card. If I had to rate it out of 10, let me think. Let me say, I'll say 7.5 out of 10. I would rate it higher, but because of the low name value, I have to put it a little bit lower. But I mean, a lot of names that some casuals won't know, but I was pretty excited to watch some of these fighters and some of these fights. It was a good card. 7.5 out of 10 for me. Even though the Derek Lewis fight didn't happen, which I'm very sad about, it was a very interesting card. Maybe the Derek Lewis fight didn't happen for a reason. Maybe he would have actually like lost badly, so maybe it's a good thing. I had Derek Lewis winning by first round knockout just to support the boy Derek Lewis. And Nzechukwu I had winning by third round knockout or TKO, and he got it done in the second. So yeah, just a quick, not so quick, it's actually like 21 minutes in. Just a review of Kennedy Nzechukwu versus Cutelaba fight night in the UFC Apex. Good card, good fights, good fighters. It's gonna be cool to see how some of these fighters that have got pulled up right now are gonna make their way into the UFC rankings and make their way up the ladder in their careers in MMA. So I'm excited for the future of these guys, and I can't wait to see what's next.